According to animal behaviorists, some of the things you do without thinking are quietly harming your dog. But do you actually know which ones? That's the unsettling part. Most of them seem completely innocent, and if you keep doing them, like the vast majority of dog owners do, you could be slowly chipping away at your dog's trust, their well-being, and their feeling of security in their own space. Here are 6 everyday habits that hurt your dog far more than you realize. 1. Raising your voice when they don't listen. Have you ever called your dog to come inside, and they just stand there staring at you like you're speaking another language? So you shout their name louder, maybe even lose your cool and scream it. Be honest, most of us have been there. It feels like the only way to snap them out of it. But here's what's really going on inside your dog's head when you raise your voice. Dogs don't connect punishment with their actions the way we assume they do. A 2018 study from the University of Porto revealed that dogs trained with aversive techniques, like yelling or harsh scolding, had significantly higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, compared to dogs trained with positive reinforcement. They weren't learning to behave better. They were learning to be scared. Here's the part that really gets me. When you shout at your dog for not listening, they don't think, "I should obey next time." They think, "My person is upset, and I have no idea why." That confusion breeds anxiety. And over time, that anxiety turns into avoidance. Your dog starts hiding when you're upset, flinching when you call them, and eventually, they stop seeing your voice as something safe. Think about it. If every time your partner called your name, it came with frustration and anger, how long before you started bracing yourself every time you heard them? That's exactly what your dog experiences, and if that's tough to sit with, wait until we get to the last one on this list. Because there's one thing almost every owner does with good intentions that might be causing the deepest harm of all. 2. Never letting them just be a dog. When was the last time your dog got to sniff something for as long as they pleased? Not a rushed walk around the neighborhood with the leash yanked tight, or real and hurried, let their nose take the lead kind of experience. Most dogs go days, sometimes weeks, without a real chance to explore their environment through scent. And we don't notice because they look okay, but they're not okay. Dogs navigate the world through their nose. That's not just a fun fact, it's the foundation of how their brain operates. A dog's sense of smell is anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 times sharper than ours. When you drag them past every intriguing scent, you're not just speeding things up, you're starving them of the mental stimulation they're hardwired to crave. Research published in the journal Animal Cognition found that dogs who were given opportunities for scent work showed lower stress levels and higher signs of optimism and overall well-being. That dog who just sleeps all day and seems easygoing, there's a strong chance they've checked out. They're not lazy, they're mentally deprived, and the fix couldn't be simpler. On your next walk, hand over the reins for 10 minutes. Let them bury their nose in that patch of grass like it's the most gripping page-turner they've ever found. Let them backtrack, revisit, and soak in the world the way nature intended. You'll come back with a dog who's genuinely fulfilled, mentally satisfied, and more bonded to you than if you'd power walked 5 miles. 3. Only feeding them one type of food. What if the exact same food you've been putting in your dog's bowl every single day for years is slowly wearing down their health from the inside? Sounds like an exaggeration, but stick with me. Here's something most people overlook. Dogs, just like us, do well with variety, not just for taste, but for actual physical health. When dogs eat the same protein source meal after meal, year after year, their immune system can start viewing that protein as an intruder. That's how food sensitivities take root. And once they do, the signs start showing up. Itchy skin, recurring ear infections, stomach issues, obsessive paw licking that never seems to let up. A study published in the Journal of Veterinary Internal Medicine found that adverse food reactions in dogs are far more common than we used to think. And many cases fly under the radar for years because owners never make the connection between the symptoms and the diet. Now, I'm not saying your dog's food is bad. Most reputable brands offer complete nutrition, but complete doesn't mean diverse. If your dog has been on chicken-based food since puppyhood, and now they're 5 with unexplained skin troubles, there's a real possibility their body is simply done with chicken. The fix is straightforward. rotate their proteins, cycle through fish, lamb, turkey, or beef over time, even mixing in fresh. Dog-friendly options like steamed veggies or an occasional rib gives their system a breather. From the same ingredients. On repeat, you're not pampering them, you're giving their immune system a fighting chance. 4. Forcing affection on them. Have you ever wrapped your arms around your dog and felt them go stiff? Maybe they turned their head away, licked their lips nervously, or gave you that whale eye where the whites are suddenly visible, and you kept hugging them anyway because, let's be real. Who doesn't love a hug? Your dog. That's who. Here's the hard truth. Dogs don't naturally embrace. In the canine world, draping a limb over another dog is a gesture of dominance or control. So when you pull your dog in for a tight squeeze, they don't read it as affection, they read it as being trapped. And most dogs put up with it because they love you, not because it feels good. A study from the University of British Columbia looked at hundreds of photos of people hugging their dogs. In nearly 70% of those images, the dogs showed unmistakable signs of stress or discomfort. Lip licking, ears pinned back, head turned away. They were enduring the moment, not savoring it. That doesn't mean you can't show love to your dog. It means you need to let them call the shots on physical contact. Lean toward them and see if they lean into you. Hold out your hand and see if they press against it. Let them initiate. When you force a hug or pin them down for a cuddle, you're sending the message that their boundaries don't count. And over time, that wears away trust faster than almost anything else. 5. Skipping the routine. Dogs don't own watches or mark calendars, but they have something just as accurate. An internal rhythm that picks up when things are out of sync. When you feed them at the same hour every day, walk them at the same time, wind down at the same time, your dog's whole system hums along, like clockwork. But when that rhythm falls apart, even briefly, something starts breaking down internally. A study from the University of Helsinki found that dogs with unpredictable daily routines showed higher levels of anxiety and stress-driven behaviors. They weren't just mildly thrown off. They were genuinely distressed because their world no longer made sense. Put yourself in their shoes. Dogs live in a world they can't control. They can't grab a snack when hunger hits. They can't step outside when nature calls. The only stability they have is you and the patterns you build. When those patterns crumble, their sense of security crumbles with them. That doesn't mean you need to live by the clock 24/7. But if your schedule has been chaotic and you've noticed your dog acting more anxious, more reactive, or just not themselves, take a hard look at your daily flow. Even small anchors, like a consistent walk time or a predictable bedtime ritual, can ground them faster than anything else. 6. Leaving them alone without a goodbye. Remember earlier when I said there's one thing almost every owner does out of love that might be causing the deepest harm? This is it. And it's going to land hard because it's something nearly all of us are guilty of. You're heading out. You grab your keys, slip on your shoes, and your dog is watching you with those big, soulful eyes. So you make a scene. You kneel down, scratch behind their ears, and coo in your softest voice, "I'll be right back. I love you. Be a good pup." And then you walk out. Here's what that big emotional send-off actually triggers. It builds anticipation. It signals to your dog that something important is about to happen. And then the door closes, and they're left alone with all that pent-up emotion. For dogs prone to separation anxiety, that dramatic goodbye is like striking a match. They spend the next hour trying to settle down from a peak they never asked to reach. A study published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that dogs whose owners made a big production out of leaving showed higher signs of distress while alone. The low-key, uneventful exits actually produce calmer dogs. So here's the adjustment. When you leave, just go. No long speeches, no tearful farewells. A calm, quiet exit tells your dog this is no big deal, nothing to get worked up about. Save the warmth for when you walk back through the door. That's when it truly lands. That's when they can link your love with your presence, not your absence. If this video changed how you see your daily interactions with your dog, smash that like button and subscribe. That's how we get these insights to more owners who want to do right by their dogs. And if you'd like to support us in creating more content like this, check out the join button below. I genuinely love having you in this community.